Paramount Global, who's the parent company of CBS Television, has agreed to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit brought by Donald Trump over the editing of a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. The lawsuit, so you know, was originally dismissed as frivolous, and the court found that it seemed to, quote, weaponize the licensing authority of the FCC in a way that is fundamentally at odds with the First Amendment, end quote. But that, of course, wasn't the end of it. Trump's new FCC chairman said the 60 Minutes segment, though meritless, could affect a major merger in the works involving Paramount and Skydance. Magically, after CBS wrote the shakedown check to Trump's presidential library fund, it suddenly appears that the merger will now go through. The CBS case was just the latest example of a government agency under Trump basically demanding protection money to do business. Brendan Carr, the new chair, is the same guy who wrote the SEC chapter in Project 2025, and he made it clear that the agency could use its authority to achieve political goals. It's not supposed to work that way. Carr was the same guy who warned the CEOs of Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Microsoft, and Apple that their fact-checking practices to stem misinformation was harming Donald Trump, and if it didn't cease their editorial decisions, they could be investigated. Once again, fact-checking suddenly was a thing of the past. On the broadcast and cable front, CBS has plenty of company. ABC was also frivolously sued, and they settled a $16 million case because of a Good Morning America segment that reported Trump's guilty verdict in the E.J. Carroll sexual assault case. Now, almost every legal expert agreed the case, again, had no merit, and defamation is extremely hard to prove, but the network decided, especially with Disney involved in possibly major deals, that writing a check was less risky than standing their ground. Newspapers, they haven't been spared either. Jeff Bezos at the Washington Post revamped his daily opinion section to appease Trump, and the LA Times shifted its paper's strategy to increasingly platform conservative views. NPR and PBS, they're slated to have their budgets slashed because Trump doesn't care for their coverage, especially when it finds it critical of him. And other multimedia giants, they've been told not to expect approval for any mergers and acquisitions if they practice corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies within their own firms. Now, if any of these actions that I just rattled off happen in another administration, the collective outrage at a president silencing a free and fair press would be deafening. The blatant unconstitutionality of Trump's assault on the First Amendment in his first 6 months has been stunning in its scope. What is just as stunning, however, is the naivete and spinelessness of these media giants bending the knee to Trump. Just as with the law firms who demean themselves to get Trump off their backs, the Fourth Estate will soon enough learn that it will never be enough for him. He reads weakness and will keep coming back for more. Trump has threatened a newspaper because he didn't like their poll results. He threatened to strip CNN of its license because he didn't find their coverage laudatory enough. In autocracies, the government is the editor-in-chief. The Washington Post slogan is, "Democracy dies in darkness." They and other bastions of journalism should remember that mission statement the next time they open their checkbooks, couch their coverage, or put their fears before facts. We need that now more than ever.